Hi, my name is John Stacy, and I'm Executive Director of the Game Manufacturers Association. And I'm taking a few moments today to share with you how we use priority points at GAMA. We'll talk a little bit about both our two shows we put on each year, the GAMA Trade Show and the Origins Game Fair, and how we calculate the points for different activities at both of those shows, and then how we use them for placement of our sponsors and our exhibitors. So let's get started on the presentation. So the purpose of the priority point system is to help us prioritize a variety of opportunities for you and your company at both the trade show and the Origin Game Fair. We use an aggregate total to reward longevity and continued participation, whereas sponsorships are event-driven and reset yearly. And so each year after Origins, we'll take a look at your activities and spend at both the trade show in the spring and then Origins in the summer, and come up with your total that you've earned for that year, which then will give you a report as well as add that to your aggregate total from the previous years. And so each year after Origins, you'll receive a email from us with that report, and so you can kind of do a self-evaluation, make sure that we got the points correct, because it's important that you are our partners, and so we ask you to review the points that we send to you to make sure that we did tabulate them correctly based on your activity and spend at each show. So let's talk a little about the GAMA Trade Show. So at the show, you can gain a maximum of 3 priority points per year per exhibitor at the show. So the first way, we have 3 ways there. So one, if you are an active GAMA member and you attend the show, you get 1 priority point. And this is regardless if you have an exhibit booth or not. Some companies come to the show, they do some activities outside the trade hall, as well as do some advertising and some sponsorship. And so we want to make sure that they're getting recognized for that activity. So you get 1 point for attending as an active member. If you're an exhibitor with at least a 10-foot by 10-foot booth, you get 1 point for that. And if you're a sponsorship at any level. So for example, if your company participates in the following ways: if you're an active member to attend, that's 1 point. You have a booth in the hall, that's another point. And you're a level 2 sponsor with some various marketing and advertising opportunities, that's another point. So you've gained the max and 3 points that are allowed for the GAMA Trade Show, which will roll over for the next year to grant you increased priority. Now, if you're just attending and you don't have a booth in the hall, but you still want to do some special events with us, you could become a sponsor, and you would gain 2 points, 1 for being an active member, 1 for being a sponsor. And if you're just a member of GAMA and you attend the trade show, you'll just get the minimum 1 point. So every attendee who comes to the show for the show will receive 1 priority point, up to 3. Looking at the Origin Game Fair, there are a number of ways that you can gain priority points at the show. And unlike the trade show, there is no upper limit amount of points you can earn. So it really is, the sky is the limit based on how involved and active you want to be at the Origins Game Fair. So we basically have 3 different categories here. The first category is being an event and a sponsor. It's an exhibitor and a sponsor. So for exhibitor, if you're an exhibitor from the previous year, you're coming back from last year to this year, you get 2 priority points for that. You get 5 priority points for each 10 by 10 booth purchased by the early bird or pre-registration prices. So as you know, we have various levels of your booth is based on when you register for it. So we have the early bird on-site price, we have a pre-registration price, and then we have a base rate. And so basically, depending on when you make that choice to be at the show for the following year or for the upcoming show, it affects how many priority points you earn. So example, if you are at the early bird or pre-registration prices, that's a plus 5 points to your priority points total. But if you don't make that, or you decide to come in later, it's 2 points. So you're still being recognized for having a booth at the show, but it's not so many points as getting in an earlier reservation of your space. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, or if you are having one of the CCG pod rooms, which is basically a smaller, in the demo, the 2 supported play areas, we have smaller sales space that you can get. So if you're doing collectible card games, or if you're getting a smaller entrepreneur booth, regardless of when you buy that, reserve your space, it's 1 point, because there's smaller booths and smaller footprint at the show. On top of that, for every $500 you spend on advertising, it's 1 priority point. Now, moving on to events, we've made some changes in here this year because we're trying to upgrade the experience for our attendees of the show, and by doing that in partnership with you, we're going to incentivize you to do certain things at the show to help us have a better show for attendees, which in turn will hopefully result in more attendees, which means more spend in the exhibit hall. And so there's this kind of a synergy going on where the better show we put on, the better show you'll have. And so as part of that partnership, we've kind of changed some of these numbers around a little bit. So for number one, for each 10 by 10 demo space purchased as a booth add-on in the supported play area, so you can demo your games, you get an extra priority point. Now, for submitting events on time, you earn points, and so the players who attend those, and that can range anywhere from 1 to 40 points. And this is based on the people who attend to your game. So if you run a lot of games and people are buying events to come to to play your games, and the more people come, the more points you'll get, because we want to have more people engaged at our show. And so this is one where we can incentivize you on that. And the next screen will explain how this works a little bit more detail. Now, this next one is the big change we've made for this year, upcoming year, is that previously, if you released a new game in Origins, you received 1 priority point. And it seemed to us that this is the game manufacturer's show, the Origins. And so we want to incentivize our members who are part of our show releasing new games at our show, because it's your show as well. And so that's just with the 1 point. We did a 10-fold increase to 10 points for each new game you release at Origins. And so as Origins becomes known for the convention where people are releasing new games at, we're going to increase our attendance. People are going to come because they want to get those new releases, especially they offer gamers. And so we want to incentivize you to bring your games to Origins and release them here. And so we're increasing the priority points you get for doing that. Again, we believe that it'll help increase the value of the show for the attendees, which in turn will increase the value for you as an exhibitor at our show. And so that's why we're putting a lot of effort on trying to find ways of doing that. And this is one we think is going to help with that. And then the third category we have being a member of GAMA. Now, as you might know, at the GAMA trade show, you must be a member of GAMA to be part, because it is an industry-only show. But Origins is not like that. You can be a member of GAMA to be an exhibitor, or not be a member of GAMA to exhibit at our show. We encourage you to be a member because you receive a discount on your booth fee for being a member, because membership should have some kind of privileges, and that's one of them. But we also want to incentivize our GAMA members who come to this show by giving them 10 points to be an active member. And if they also exhibited a trade show in the same year, they get another 10 points. So as you can see, you can easily accumulate a lot of points really fast at Origins. So let's take a look at an example of how that might look as a breakdown. So this company comes to Origin. Here's an example of ways they might want to participate. So let's say they're a returning exhibitor from last year. They get their 2 points. They purchased 2 10 by 10 booths at the early bird prices. So that's 5 points for each of the booths that they reserved. That's 10 points added to their total. They spent $7,000 in a variety of advertising of the show. That's 1 per 500 spent. So that's 14 points. They purchased 2 10 by 10 demo booths in the supported play area, and that's 1 point each. That's 12 points. They run 10 events at the show with 144 players attending over those 10 events. And so the math makes my head spin, but there's an easy way for easy is saying the square root of 144 is 12. So you've earned 12 points for running those 10 events at our show. But they also debuted 2 new games, and that might be the 10 events they ran for demoing their new game. And that's at 10 points per game that they released to the show for another 20 points. They are an active GAMA member. Thank you very much. That's 10 points. And they exhibited GTS the same year. Thank you very much. And that's 10 points. So in the aggregate, they gained 80 points for the year for attending Origins Game Fair, which, as you can see, you can build up a lot of points really fast at Origins. And so if you have any questions about being an exhibitor at the Origins Game Fair or at the GAMA Trade Show, or about your priority points, please reach out to our meetings manager, Jim Godin, at the contact information listed here on the screen. Thank you again for your time and for your interest in being part of our association and our activities, and have a great day.